Are we on? Recording. Yes! It's recording.
We did it.
Figured it out.
Yay.
Okay.
We get better at this every time.
As long as we're recorded with enough regularity. If we go like a month without recording,
That's true. We
tend
forget
to forget how to use the
microphone.
microphone.
Yeah.
And at some point we are going to buy more. And a mixer thingy and whatever the fuck else we need.
Yeah. The Fey wine's already starting to go to my head. Welcome.
I need to drink more of it then.
Yeah.
Yes, welcome to Salacious Sips, a drinky book club. If you've noticed, we have rebranded.
Mm-hmm.
We have.
We have decided a few episodes in, obviously. So there's a weird layover shit. I'm not explaining myself at all.
No, you're not. No, you're not. We decided to rebrand. Every episode going forward is going to be Salacious Sips. We did a few episodes and decided that the shoe just wasn't fitting right, so we brainstormed a new name.
And why not something that suits our shenanigans a little bit better?
Yeah. It gives us more opportunity to do things like wine.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and the next few episodes format will be slightly different than maybe the cadence that you've seen, where at least once a month it's book club. Mostly because we are undertaking Sarah J. Maas and A Court of Thorns and Roses series.
We're doing ACOTAR.
Go ACOTAR!
We subjected Christina to this because Laurel and I read these, and when I shouldn't even say read. I should say we suffered through it, and then got to the second book and was like, "Oh, what the fuck is this?" And Christina hadn't read them yet, so we were like, "Okay, you should
have to
definitely
read
just
them.
cold read just the first one." Remind us what happened, because the plot has now run together for me.
Yeah,
for all of them.
we're trying not to give her spoilers for the rest of the series,
Which is impossible because
I know.
the internet.
and
Yes.
it all melds together, and you're like, why didn't I realize that when I read ACOTAR?
So, and this is the thing. I am the type of person who is fine with spoilers. I can still enjoy myself with spoilers. It's just
but a lot of us are not.
Yeah, I'm the one that
No.
doesn't give a shit. So,
Yeah.
just be aware before we start the discussion. Spoilers.
She's only read the first book.
Yes, but there will likely be spoilers as we discuss
This is
it.
just the first book.
And then we're going to do...
Laurel and
More
I are
episodes.
probably incapable of not slipping something of the other books.
So if you have only read the first book, there might be a few accidental spoilers. We're going to try not to.
Or
And
you
if
haven't...
you are like me and have chosen not to read the book until someone has harassed you
forces
about it.
you.
Yeah, spoilers. I mean, I've been aware of Sarah J. Maas and her series since I was in college. I just never got into it. And I just realized this many minutes in, none of us have introduced ourselves.
Well,
That's okay.
It's okay.
It's a fairy wine.
Yes. So,
it's
I'm...
potent.
Yes, Christina. Hello.
Laurel.
And I'm Claire.
And yeah, and we're drinking wine.
We're unhinged, and we're drinking wine. Wine is a big thing in the ACOTAR universe.
Oh, yes.
Is the fairy wine.
Fairies like their wine.
Don't drink the fairy wine.
So we need to get more wines for the next few episodes.
Yes, we do.
Because a bottle of wine will not last us.
Oh, no.
Farrah drinks the fairy wine and has a bad time. So,
Yes.
Okay,
so I don't know if this will be able to be posted very much on the webpage because it might. I might all be in Turkish, but I went to Europe. Was it last year or year before? I don't remember anymore. And we went to Bodrum in Turkey and went to a vineyard. Karnas Vineyards, and we have a dry rosé wine. It's a white Zinfandel start. A great situation. And the description of this wine, located in a region of the Mediterranean, known for some of humanity's oldest winemaking traditions, quality amphoras, and delicious grapes, Karnas wines source their aromas from the sunny, rocky, I can't even read that, calcareous terror. Our family strives to nurture the unique qualities of the vineyard while respecting the environment. So it is produced in limited quantities with traditional methods at the family vineyard. So it's lively, fruity, round, and balanced. This one specifically pairs well with fish, pasta, pizza, cheeses, fruit salads, and desserts.
But a dry rosé.
It is a dry rosé. I prefer the dry rosé, so I'm not going to have a lot of the sweet rosés. And honestly, we might pause for a bit and grab more later.
Yeah, I'm a dry wine girl. I'm liking this.
And so I brought it back and haven't had a reason until we started talking fairy wine.
Yeah.
I like lots of wines, as long as they're not oaked a lot. I'm not a big oaked wine person, but I like the range. Like, I like a dry, I like semi-sweet.
Yeah, you know what we could do at the next one is get edible glitter. And mix it into the wine.
Oh,
just the fairy yet.
Ooh.
That would work.
I mean, why not? Just make it just silly fairy shit.
Yeah. Oh, we get some pointy ears?
I don't care.
I don't know if you want to.
We've got like crowns and masquerade masks around the house too.
That's what I'm talking. We should have worn the masquerade mask today, guys.
We could have.
The masks are off after Akatar.
That is true.
Yeah, so we probably should get into the details.
We probably should get into the details. I'm like desperately trying to recall the plot now.
Okay, someone read the back page to summary shit.
When 19-year-old huntress Feyre kills a wolf in the woods, a terrifying creature arrives to demand retribution. Dragged into a treacherous magical land she knows about only from legends, Feyre discovers that her captor is not truly a beast, but one of the lethal immortal fairies who once ruled her world. At last, he's not a beast all the time. Oh, at least, sorry. My contacts are fun. As she adapts to her new home, her feelings for the fairy Tamlin transform from icy hostility into fiery passion that burns through every lie she's been told about the beautiful, dangerous world of the Fae. But something is not right in the fairy lands. An ancient, wicked shadow is growing, and Feyre must find a way to stop it or doom Tamlin and his world forever.
See, again, you read the back or the summary on Amazon or in Kindle book or the back of the book itself.
Mine was literally the actual book.
Yeah, and it's the same on Amazon.
Okay, because I'm holding the book.
I mean, I started this 3 times before.
You got to
it was Laurel who told me. She's like, you just have to get through the first one. I'm like, but it sucks.
You just have to get through this first one.
Like, but it sucks.
But it's true, isn't it?
It is.
Okay, it is.
And it's not necessarily that the book sucks or the plot sucks.
No,
it's
not.
Everyone in the book sucks.
The characters suck.
The story is interesting.
The story is interesting.
Everyone
and it sets you up for
sucks.
the whole series, but dang it, you can't like anybody for a long time.
No, everyone is a terrible person. They're all terrible.
Like, so it took me about 2 hours to read it.
That's
maybe 2.5 hours.
Okay, but
She's
you're
ridiculous.
Like the fastest reader.
But then again, that is
this
based
is
on
not a
my
2-hour book. We're just saying this is
how long it took
400
me.
and some pages.
But there was lots of throwing of the tablet down.
Yes.
Asking what the hell I'm reading.
Yes.
Lamenting some of the stupidity of the characters.
Yes. The fucking riddle.
The fucking riddle.
Oh, the riddle.
We'll get to it.
Okay.
So
that's at the end of the book.
We did not take any notes for this because we've all read it at varying stages.
We're just raw dogging this episode.
Yes.
Yeah, I read it November, December, so that's a few months now, like 4 months.
4 or 5 months.
4 or 5 months, and then I lent the books to you, and you read them all.
And I read them in January, February, somewhere.
Yeah. And then I read them last week.
But once I got through the first book, I sailed through
I
all
just
of the other ones.
flew.
It was like...
Yeah, I took my time. The first third of this book, I was like, you're going to read it. You know it's going to be good once you read it.
It's like, you have to finish the book. Really, for me, it was I literally read it the day before we were going to record. And was like, it was 2 days before we were going to record. And the next day we had shit to do, so there was no way I was going to read it. It's like, I have to finish the book. I have to finish the book. Why am I reading the book?
Yes.
Where is the liquor?
Okay, but it takes you like 2 hours to read a book.
Yes.
So like...
So
So now we were saying, like, Claire and I are probably going to reread the Akatar, this book, because there's so many things that I would now say, aha. Now I understand that, and I can't believe I didn't pick up on that the first time.
There was a little bit when I was reading the second and the third one, of me kind of going like, that's why Rhysand did what he did.
You know, that's what was
but
going
I
on
didn't
Tamlin.
actually...
That's why Tamlin said that.
Yes.
And then later on, you're like, oh, Lucian.
Yeah. I kind of want to shake Lucian. Like,
Well,
a lot.
I wanted to hit him. So.
I like him. I wanted Faerie
I
to
like
fall.
him, but I also want to hit him.
When I read this
I
book,
don't know if I like him yet, but I'm also only read the first book. So far, he's growing on me a little bit, but I want to hit him.
when I read the first book, I wanted her to fall for Lucian.
I knew that wasn't happening.
I wanted her to fall for Lucian, and then she put him in the friend zone and ended up liking Tamlin.
I
wanted her to like Lucian.
the whole her and Tamlin relationship through this just rubs me the wrong way.
It's supposed to.
Like
I liked
fit.
it. I wanted to like it.
Tamlin just sucks.
It doesn't
just
fit.
sucks.
It just does. They don't fit.
They don't. And for a while,
I thought they did.
Mm-mm.
For a while, I thought the trope was going to be like falls in love with the best friend instead, right? And so Faerie was going to end up with Lucian.
I wanted that.
I kind of thought, like, not that I was hoping for that, but I felt like that's kind of where it was going for a little while, and then all of a sudden, like, Rhysand showed up and kind of, like, derailed everything. But it took me a long time to like Rhysand, too. It took me a long time to like anybody in this book. Fairah's, like, a wet blanket. Tamlin's awful.
Her family's
Rhysand is
awful.
this weird two-faced thing going on, which, like, makes sense in hindsight, but, like,
I like him.
also, come
Who?
on, asshole.
Rhysand.
You do? I don't know. When I read the first
But
book, I was scared of him, and then I was
no! That the one interaction that they did have before, like she goes back, was like it was like giving me ideas. So we should probably try to do some semblance of
Let's start at the
Yes.
beginning of the story
Let's
a
start
little
beginning.
bit.
We're raw dogging this.
Yes.
We got excited.
We did
got
take
excited.
notes because we all read it at different times, and we're doing. So this is like a weird combination of our whole package episode and our Pookie episodes, where it's like book club / book report kind of situation. As the dogs decide to put Netflix on my tablet. Okay, so let's just try to start from the beginning. So the first part of the book, her hunting.
It intrigued me.
My first reaction was,
I like some
am I
archery.
reading The Hunger Games?
Yes, same.
I like archery though.
Yes, I like that she's self-sufficient and a hunter
Yes.
and all of that. But it was, and then I was like, wait, I feel like when were they published? Because there was probably maybe I feel like Sarah J. Maas was published before.
Oh, Suzanne Collins was college for me, and I want to say these were right when I graduated.
So
I think they're in the same time frame.
So okay, so maybe not, but like there was very, very much similar vibes from the very beginning. Yeah,
Takes care of the family.
yes,
Yeah.
the vibes are very similar.
Huntress and
I did get a little bit of Katniss
Mhm.
out of Faerie.
With
I
our
didn't
hunting.
get like the Hunger Games.
No, but like
I didn't
Katniss,
get the Hunger
it was
Games
not
in the same way that I got it out of Serpent and the Wings of Night.
right. I was definitely more Katniss than a Hunger Games.
You
But that was a really popular female main
It was,
character
yes,
trope
for a very
in
long
like
time.
the
But
2010s.
I want you to say, like, I'm reading Quicksilver now because I'm late to that, and Saris, she's very much that type of woman.
Yes.
She's along the same line.
But like
Yes.
I remember when I first was aware of Sarah J. Maas, it was college. So it was in the late 2000s.
I didn't even hear about it
Yeah.
till more recently when I was like
But I was
starting
late.
up the
I
whole
was
book
late.
talk thing.
Yeah, I was late to the Hunger Games.
Oh,
Okay.
see, I read the
And
Hunger
that was
Games when
college.
they came out.
Well, let's see
So
what
it
this
was
was.
2007, 2008, somewhere in there.
Let's-
Anyway, it was a really like popular,
It was
like kind of like the tough girl was kind of a popular trope.
the
in
tou-
these
well,
kinds of
and
books
there's
at the
nothing
time.
wrong with the tough girl.
No.
but it was like the tough girl hunter was.
I think I was a young
with
adult
that.
and I read the Hunger Games. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I was college, and that would have been 2010, 2011,
Well,
somewhere
we
in
can-
there. And I think the Hunger Games had been out a couple years at that point. It's like I was a little late to. Well, I take that back because all three of the Hunger Games books were out by the time I read the Hunger Games.
Okay, so Hunger Games was 2008.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense now. Okay. But there's also kind of like that little bit of like that aloof.
2015. So it was in the same like era.
Okay. Okay. That. It's the same era, and like I
We're
said,
not
that was,
claiming anyone's copying
Yeah.
or
No.
anything.
Yeah,
We're
because-
just saying it's very common.
But you have to remember what else was popular during that time. Now that I'm thinking about it, was Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Oh, that's right.
That
yes.
also kind of had that very
Steve Larson's
self-sufficient,
badass
tough
hunting-
girl,
yeah, you're
badass
right, you're
kind
right.
of thing. Like that was a really
Hunter,
popular
take care
trope
of your
at the
family,
time.
like
Mhm.
disillusioned.
Yes, Yes. So anyway, I did get Katniss out of Faerie in the beginning, but it wasn't like, oh, they're copying each other.
No,
No.
it was very,
It was
like, very similar people.
That was a very popular, like, female main character trope of the time, right? It was kind of like that tough girl huntress. I live in the woods kind
It
of
was
thing.
Katniss meets Cinderella.
It was.
I got
Bella
more
in this case, huh?
Cinderella.
Well, very early, the first part of the book is Katniss and Cinderella.
I very much got Cinderella out of it, right? Because she was the youngest. Her two older sisters were kind of
like the stepsister
but they had
vibe.
fallen from grace.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything. They were pampered, and she wasn't.
Yes. And they all, like, sleep in the same bed or whatever.
Yes.
Faerie paints everything, in each
So yeah,
surface.
Faerie likes to paint, and so she paints their chests of drawers, and each girl has one drawer, and she has the stars, and Elaine has the flowers, right? The garden, the flowers on her drawer, and then
Nesta
has the flames, right?
Yes.
Flames.
Yes.
So that's a big thing.
Well, that also kind of alludes to who they
Shit, now I
become,
do need to go back and reread.
You know?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Yes. But you don't really know a lot about it.
No,
you find out about it as a character.
The fact that
But
they
that's
go
all
into
point
that
of
detail,
foreshadowing.
yeah,
right, exactly.
They go into that detail, and again, this book was very much similar. Me reading it was very much similar. If you were sitting next to me, Claire, of how I reacted to Fourth Wing.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Where I'm just sitting there going, like, what is this? Wait, this is gonna happen.
But Fourth Wing, at least for me, was just kind of like, oh, I could kind of, like, see the plot of Fourth Wing coming from, like, 20 miles away. This, none of, like, all of the characters were just assholes. Like, there was nobody that had any redeeming qualities. There was nobody who was like, oh, yeah, no, I like them, I can relate to them, right? Like...
So Nesta bitches, Elaine gardens, but only flowers. Nothing that helps them get food, which they actually need.
Yes.
Well, they make it so Farrah's the only one that's doing anything productive.
Yes.
And Dad is sad because Mom has died. He used to be a rich merchant. He got
broke
crippled.
his leg. He's
not.
now.
Well, he didn't break his leg. Someone broke his leg.
Yeah, but like
the debt collectors broke his leg
because he was dumb.
Yes.
And then, but he still doesn't do anything. The only thing he does do sometimes is whittle.
Yeah, but Faerie kind of comes off as, like, a little bit of a shrinking violet, right? Like, she's kind of this big, tough character until she's not. You know what I mean? Like, she is this big, tough thing until she kind of gets into the spring court.
So in the story, though, there's a wall. There's a wall.
A magical wall situation.
That the fairies can't cross after there had been a huge war thousands of years ago. And so humans don't know about fairies.
No, it's the humans can't cross.
The humans can't cross.
Neither one are supposed to cross.
So the fairies aren't supposed to cross because remember, I can't even remember the fucking character's name now. The one that Faerie kills.
He's not supposed to cross.
He's sent across.
He sneaks across.
He's sent so they can go across.
Yeah,
but they're
fairies
not
can go
supposed
across.
to.
He's been sent across.
But the humans don't go across because there was kind of like that. There was sort of like that urban myth that the fairies just ate humans,
and Nesta
right?
tried to cross eventually.
Nesta tried
but
to
she
cross.
couldn't.
The wall is to keep humans safe from the fairies.
The wall is to keep the humans from going into fairies.
I don't want to give any spoilers, but later on, they send them to find cracks in the wall so the fairies can go through and attack the humans. Because they can't get through the wall. They're not supposed to be able to get through the wall.
But they had to bring the wall down in order to get that many.
And so they had to find cracks in the wall.
So you had to so the fairies had to go through.
You either have to go through the wall in cracks or they have to go around somehow.
So there was some way for anyway, we're jumping
ahead. They can go back and forth, you just have to find a crack in the wall.
So both of them have to find the cracks.
Yes.
Anyway, Farrah goes hunting and takes down a wolf that she thinks might be a fairy, but she's not sure.
She's hunting a doe or something like that,
for food, and then
she
hunts the wolf.
Yeah, and then ends up shooting the wolf so she can sell its pelt and get some food money.
And she kills him. I'm remembering this now with an ash arrow.
Yes.
So ash is like the fairy's kryptonite in this.
Yes. Fairy kryptonite is ash wood.
Well, and what makes me giggle is that when the whole Ashwood stuff happened, if you watch Vampire Diaries or the originals, the white oak tree was burned to ash.
Yes.
Or if you watch Teen Wolf, Mountain Ash, Rowan, where it blocks supernatural.
Oh,
It,
see,
like,
yeah.
kills-
I've always heard about silver and things, but I can't I don't remember any ones that had ash.
Yeah,
So
there's
I
a
didn't
lot
know
of
if that was
wood
a
and
new
ash.
thing. Okay.
Yes, it was very
Yes.
much a thing in those.
Yes. Well, but ash
Not
is like
literal
a tree.
ash, the ash
Well, it's
tree.
yeah. Well, it's a rowan tree.
Yeah, yeah.
If it's
Well,
burnt,
it was like an ash. It's like an ash tree.
rowan
Like
and
an
ash,
ash
like
tree,
because
yeah.
the magical. So that
Not
was that.
ashes.
Yes,
And
it's
then-
like an ash tree. Yes.
And then, so she sells, and my whole thing is like that mercenary. I want to know more about the goddamn mercenary.
Me too. The mercenary was good.
That she sells the.
Oh yes.
The pelt
Oh yeah,
too.
that's right. I
Yes.
liked that gal. I wanted to know more
I
about
thought
that
she
gal.
was going to come back in somewhere.
And she never shows back up.
I know. She was an interesting character.
I think
She
the
was an
the
interesting
She had a lot of
mercenary was literally there to move the plot forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, she kind of was.
But she was so well developed to move the plot
There's
forward.
there's a character that I'm thinking of that she reminded me of, and it's not coming to me. It will come to me eventually.
But
But
like,
And then Vera has a fuck buddy. Nothing much happens with that either.
no.
but
but
but he was, I think, just there. I think he was there kind of like as a foundational, like
She's had
she's
sex.
Yeah.
she is a grown ass human adult, right?
Yeah.
That was establishing that she knows her way around, right? This is not like a virginity thing.
No.
You know, like
She does, even though her sister, older sister Nesta, kind of acts like she hates her. Farrah goes out of the way to try to protect her.
yeah, and isn't Nesta the one, or was it Elaine? Elaine is the one. No, both of
Nesta
them
was the
were.
one that wanted to marry the abusive guy.
The abusive guy.
But I mean, she obviously doesn't know that at the time.
But Elaine had a bow in there somewhere too, right?
I don't
Wasn't
remember.
she like?
She was
That's
seeing.
later.
That wasn't in the first book.
Okay,
Nope,
that wasn't
it's
in the
later.
first book. Oh yeah, that's right.
So Nesta.
This is why this is the problem.
Well, hey, this is the whole. Again, just be
thought it was
aware.
Nesta
Nesta
in the
has
first
a
book.
boyfriend, but we find
They're
out
courting.
that, yeah, but Farrah finds out that he's actually abusive, that the father's abusive to the mother, and all this stuff, and they don't want to take her on because they don't have any money to feed Nesta, let alone treat her well.
Well,
And-
basically,
And
wasn't it?
Nesta doesn't find out until Tamlin's animal form comes to take her.
Yeah, but doesn't
Because
isn't
she like blurts out a bunch of warnings of how to live, how to survive. Here's the money. Here's what you need.
Yes, like she has all this information when she comes back.
But
Well,
wasn't there
before she
something?
leaves.
Wasn't there something about Nesta's dowry that they were willing?
They had no dowry.
That they had no dowry, but like the abusive guy
was
was
willing
willing
to
to take her anyway
Without it, but
because
something
of,
along those
like,
lines.
because
Yeah.
her dad was the merchant. There was something about a bloodline in there. No,
I don't know.
I'll
Anyway,
remember that.
there was
But
something- there
again,
was
I've
something about
only read the
dowry.
book once, so this
So
is
th-
going off.
So
of memory.
after they go in and they sell the pelt, they come home, and that night, bam, their door gets knocked down by a huge monster.
Yes,
Tamlin
it's
and animal
Tampon.
form.
I mean Tamlin.
And so that's when she like just
You're coming with me. You killed one of my men.
and she goes out of her.
She's just
Farrah-
like, yeah, sure, okay, whatever.
Farrah's still trying to protect her family, so she
Yes.
blurts out everything to protect them, and
But it was a little bit Hunger Games though. Now that you say
Yeah.
that, right? Because
That's
it's
why
a little bit
she's-
like, I volunteer as tribute, right?
Yes,
Like,
yes.
leave them all alone.
well, she
I'll
didn't
go
have to
with you.
volunteer. She's like, I killed it, I did it, like
Yeah,
protecting
I
her
did it.
family.
No, but it was
But
like,
very
take
much.
me, I'm responsible, leave
Yes.
everybody else alone.
Yeah.
And then the whole blur out how to take care of themselves, where the money is, how to handle it, what to
Yes.
do, all of this
Yes.
stuff.
I feel like he does the whole blindfold thing, taking her.
No,
across
he
the
knocks
border,
her out.
doesn't
He
he?
knocks her out.
Yeah,
She
across
And
the
they
border.
like
I
ride
mean,
on horses for
she
like
doesn't
3
see
days.
it.
No,
No.
she gets like knocked out, and all of a sudden they're in fairyland.
And they're on a horse for like 3 days or something like
So
that.
his
it's like
kingdom
two.
is over the border, and
It's like just over the border.
just over the border. Because they live really close to the border. Her family.
2 days. It's
Yeah.
2 days.
It's what? There's a map in here somewhere. It's
Yeah,
like
there is.
spring court.
He's in the spring
It's
court.
it's the spring,
court, summer court,
So
autumn
it's
court,
always
winter
spring
court.
in his
Day and night court.
Yes.
And so there's the 4 seasons court, but then there's also a night court.
There's a day
and
court
Day
and
and
a
night
court.
court.
Yeah, more fairy wine, please. Thank you.
And so like
And so the seasonal courts kind of band together more, and the other ones band together more.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
there's
mean,
a
but
little
you
bit of
don't
like.
you don't know about the other courts in this
Oh,
one.
but
You
it's like
only
this-
really know about the
It's
the
like
spring
spring
court.
court.
It's the seasonal courts versus like
Yeah.
the daylight courts, right? And there's a
Day-
divide.
there's dawn, day, and night.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of like inter-fairy warfare going on there
Mhm.
because like if I'm remembering correctly, season courts, there's a little bit of upstairs downstairs going on. Like the season courts are a little bit like the downstairs, quote unquote. And
Yeah.
then,
Does
like,
this
the
look like
northern...
to the UK to anybody else but me?
Yeah.
It is.
Okay. Just
It
making
is.
sure.
There's Highburn is Ireland.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Prythian, which is the
The whole
main
continent.
Is
the
the UK.
continent
That's
is
the
the
UK.
UK.
Ireland, the UK, and
Yeah.
then that's
Yes.
Like what?
And
And
then
this-
then like mainland Europe is other fairy realms and more realms. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so let's see. That gets us to the fairies, and
So we're finally at the spring court.
yes, where you've got her handmaiden or maid
Yes.
person,
Yes.
Alice.
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 I thought it was Alice. Yeah.
So there's Alice. So she only really interacts, as far as she knows, Alice, Tampon,
and
Lucian.
That's a lot of people call him on
We call him, yeah.
TikTok.
I mean, it's all over TikTok.
Yes.
Bookstagram,
He's a
BookTok.
wet blanket. He is a wet
It's
blanket
tampon.
through this entire book.
And I have to say, my first introduction to him, I did not like him. I knew, like, in the you can tell in the first book, like they pair her Farah and Tamlin together, and it doesn't fit right.
He kind
It
of
doesn't
They're
tries.
feel
always paired together, but I wanted Lucian. I voted for Lucian.
Lucian gave me like ride or die bestie vibes.
To be fair to Tamlin, he gives like 20% effort to win her over, but like Lucian is the one who's just kind of like, no man, he's crazy, don't do anything with him, right? Like
Yeah.
quietly pointing in the corner like.
It's like maybe not. Like,
Lucian
know.
is the one that takes her out to do stuff. And
Yeah.
he's the one that
Yeah.
like talks to her.
But for the longest time,
he's the
I
one
thought.
that's not an asshole. Like
But for the longest time, I thought the way the plot was going was that
She was
Feyre was
gonna
going to end
fall
up with
with
Lucian,
Lucian.
and it was going to be like the fall in love with the best friend.
no,
True.
when I first read it, I didn't feel comfortable with either. When I got to that point, I did not feel comfortable with either one of them with her. It didn't fit. Like, it was one of those where it's almost, but not quite.
Yeah, but Lucian kind of was like that placeholder shadow daddy for a little while there.
He,
Before
for
Rhysand
me,
comes
with
in.
him, I felt like he was more like bestie. Like, he was
bestie, but I wanted her to fall for him because he was nice, and I knew
Again,
she was
like I
going the
said,
other way
he
for
It was
Tamlin.
more like bestie.
I thought she was going to do the thing where she falls for the best friend.
But
I was into that.
when we
And I
got
thought
to
it was going to be like friends to lovers kind of thing.
Yeah.
when we get to Fairy Court, you get Beauty and the Beast vibes.
Very much
Oh,
so. Very
well,
much so.
Okay, so it's definitely Beauty and the Beast.
Tamlin is a card-carrying asshole. So, like, there's
But
that.
he is like beautiful, and he's supposed to be very like.
As far as they can tell, with the fucking
beast-like
mask
and-
stuck to their face.
Oh, we haven't told them about that though, unless they already know because they've read it, obviously.
But like, I sent the
So there's a
text. I was
curse.
like, what the fuck with the mask stuck to the face?
There's a curse.
How do you know they're
Yeah.
beautiful?
Everything else is beautiful, but anyway, my
Look, they are fairies in a romantic
no offense
book.
to like half the population.
They eat anything they want, and they have a chiseled 8-pack, and they're 6.5 feet
He's
tall.
a beautiful
And
six
have
and a half-
cocks
have
that
long-
you can't put your hand
long
around.
flowing
Yes.
hair,
and he's flowy blonde hair, and right for me that's right now that's the downhill.
Yes.
and their cocks are roughly the width of French bread loaves.
Oh, wait.
You know.
So, side note,
She
I don't
doesn't
know.
see that for a long time.
Have you seen? I don't
We haven't
know if
seen
I
this
saw it on Instagram or I saw it on Instagram, but I don't know if it originated on Book
the
Talk.
Snickers bar thing.
No, not the Snicker bars thing. Of where it was like I didn't know it was never on my bingo card to see Glenn Powell as Tamlin. Because I don't know if you remember, like there was a Super Bowl
Oh.
commercial with a like Ram trucks or Ford
Oh, there
trucks.
was the three bears.
The three
or
bears
whatever,
in the truck where
Oh,
Glenn Powell
yes!
is Goldilocks.
Okay, now the
Is
meme
Goldilocks?
Now the meme is coming to me, yes. And then in the back seat is
Yes.
Lucian, Farah, and
Yes.
Rhysand.
And you're
Yes.
Glenn Powell as Tamlin was never
Okay,
on
but
the
Glenn
bingo
Powell
card.
being an unredeemable asshole for an entire
Doesn't
movie,
work.
I'm ashamed of that. I would pay to see that.
I would, but I wouldn't know how
It doesn't
would
work. He comes off more as Lucian. I think he would do better as Lucian.
So, and then
Stick with us. We'll fan cast the whole failed ACOTAR series before we're over.
And then, like, we should put on the whiteboard, Glenn Powell equals Lucian.
We should fan cast the failed ACOTAR series.
Yes.
Not right now, but maybe for the next
No,
episode.
we will not
Oh,
remember.
Jesus Christ. I'm too drunk on the fairy wine to come up with any other actors.
It's fine, we'll figure it out.
Henry Cavill is Rhysand. I will not be taking notes on that.
So Tamlin does buy her all the beautiful painting supplies and lets her do all that stuff. But
like I said,
mostly,
he gives like a 20% effort.
Like,
Yeah, but
we said
mostly-
Cavill.
Cavill is Rhysand. I'm not taking notes on that.
He's not dark enough. I don't know.
He can be.
Okay, we'll dye his hair dark. I don't think that's fair. Henry Cavill could be anyone.
He could be.
So in this I only know
But we're also only sticking with Akatar.
We need a hot redhead for Lucian. Oh, we already put Glenn Powell in?
We could dye his
Who's
hair.
Tamlin? Okay, who's Tamlin then?
I'm trying to think of who plays Robert Pattinson. I'm sorry, I'm very
Our
toasty over here. He would rock it as Tamlin. I mean, unless someone can think of another
we'll keep going.
guy who plays.
We'll keep going. Well, as we talk about it, we'll keep coming up with.
I'm trying to think of another guy who plays good bad guys.
So there's the Wrights. So the Spring Wrights. Apparently.
Yes.
Well, before we get to the Spring Rites, what happens is she
Oh, no, I'm wrong. Robert Pattinson has to be.
Lucian?
No, he has to be with the haircut. Shit, Amrit.
Oh,
Remember
other
what
book.
I sent you?
No! That was a horrible TikTok. No.
Okay, we are sticking to Akatar.
We're just sticking to Akatar.
And then if we need to recast, we will recast.
We will recast.
Okay.
Okay, but who's gonna be? You know what? I feel like Farah's a. Oh shit! What's her name? I can see her face.
Oh, I'm thinking of someone.
Princess Diaries.
Anne Hathaway?
Anne Hathaway.
Oh, maybe.
She can do it.
I was thinking, the one that can sing that does the cup song.
Anna Kendrick?
Anna Kendrick, maybe? I don't know.
Mm.
No? Not spicy
Anna
enough?
Kendrick is a little too girl next door.
Oh.
Anne Hathaway has more. She can go either way.
Yeah, Anne Hathaway can kind of be can play kind of that understated character a little bit better, I would say.
I mean, these
Warrior
are the critical.
Spicy?
These are the critical actors that we are casting.
Yeah.
I can't spell her name, so we'll just do that when we get to it. We'll
Who do
figure it out.
you guys think in your head you would put in these characters? Because
I don't know quite yet.
You know who we should cast as Tamlin? Timothy Chalamet.
You
already hate him.
I hate him.
You already hate him.
But he's not blonde and big.
No.
He's not the right guy for that.
No.
He needs to be a big
that's
blonde.
true.
I hate him, but he doesn't fit.
No, let's leave.
We'll leave.
Chalamet
Look,
out
let's get back to it, and then as we come up with shit, we'll add more or take off more. Lucian takes her hunting all around and helps her. What was the cereal?
Yeah, they capture the cereal.
Oh,
That,
but he just tells her how to do it, and she does it.
She does it, and then but she gets attacked, and Lucian's is off to the side listening to help, but then he doesn't because he hesitates because drama, or not. I don't know. He's kind of a pussy.
Who?
Lucian?
A little bit, or not a pussy. Sorry, and we're not.
I think he.
I feel like the pussy is not the right term.
No, I think he is very dedicated to his the people he loves.
But
Lucian's a little traumatized.
Yes,
Yeah,
there it
and
is.
rightfully
He's not
so.
a pussy.
Lucian's a little traumatized.
Rightfully so.
Please don't come at me for that term. I'm sorry. I'm not PC enough to find a new one right now. And we're a couple of glasses of wine in.
2 glasses of fairy wine in. We're having a good time.
So we mean no offense.
Lucian kind of has his... Lucian...
Has his moments.
Yes, is the youngest son of a character that you find out later is somehow worse than Tamlin. So,
I think they bring it up.
About his father.
his
father's
horrible.
a real dick, and he,
His dad is a real dick, and
his brothers aren't better.
his brothers are bad too.
His mom is too in love with her dad.
His mom is basically the evil stepmother in Cinderella.
But then I find
No. The mom is kind of oppressed by the father, right?
So from the book, it's mom loves dad too much.
Mom loves dad.
But then I found out what happens with Lucian later, what they discover.
No.
I didn't do that on purpose.
You're not supposed to know
I'm
this
not
shit.
kidding. I didn't do it on purpose. I was doom scrolling Instagram.
Our listeners can't know this shit either because you're not supposed to know it.
Say.
Yeah.
But I was doom scrolling and it showed up.
Yeah. So anyway,
And I kind of figured...
Lucian has reasons for being the way that he is
Yes.
in this book, and you don't find out until later.
Anyway, so they do all the hunting and the killing and the taking care of Tamlin stuff and discovering the artwork a la Beauty and the Beast, discovering the library.
Yes.
This is like halfway through the book.
Roughly, give or take.
And then you find out about the spring...
So there's
rites
a
of
spring
spring.
rites or something.
that brings fertility back to the land. And...
It has to be done every year.
Isn't this the one where they have to, like, have sex to, like...
So, yeah,
make the land
the High
fertile or
Lord
something
has
like
to
that?
have sex
I'm pretty
with
sure
someone.
I shared it with you guys, but I also think I saved it because my social media went wonky.
And Rhysand is just there, just slinking around in the shadows.
You
as
don't
he
know.
does.
You don't really know that's
Okay,
him.
so this
Till later.
is what I got from Instagram. This is posted by Sarah Hengel. And so
this 20-year-old girl is locked.
let me start
There's
from
like
the-
literally one chapter in the book where this 20-year-old girl is locked in a room and the old fairy man is like, "Oh, sorry, babe. Today's like, this is actually a chapter." He's like, "Tonight's the night where I have to mate with someone because our juices will make the land thrive. And you were just way too tempting, so off you go." It's crass. It's so inappropriate. I had to read the whole series just to make sure it didn't get any worse than that.
So
She doesn't listen to him. She breaks out and heads that way.
That's
Yes!
why she sneaks on. Well,
Because
because
she's
he's
like-
worried about the fairy wine. He's worried that she's going to basically get gang raped by fairies.
but then of all the people to save her,
So
You get introed.
So these group of guys do start to try to do that to her.
Yeah.
And then she's saved by this random
tall, dark,
scary
and handsome
tall,
like,
dark, handsome.
comes out of the woods basically and like tells them off, and she doesn't realize at
And
the
she's like,
time who he
he
is.
And he's like, "On your way," because she doesn't know him. On your
because,
way.
because full disclosure, Rhysand could fuck them up,
Yeah.
mhm.
like without even trying.
Well, because
They
she
doesn't
doesn't wait.
like,
She's not
they
aware
know
of their
it.
levels.
Yes, she's not
She
aware of
doesn't
the levels.
know
She
who
doesn't
he
know who
is.
the fuck he is, right? She has no idea what he's capable of. So like the fairies who were trying to mess with her just like tuck their tails and run, which is absolutely the right thing to do. Right?
And she's confused and
And
a
she's
little
confused.
annoyed.
She's like, "Who the fuck are you?" Right? And he's like,
But
"I'm a
when
friend."
he showed up, first of all, I was like, okay, who is this?
He's like, "I'm a friend," and then he just like slinks back into the shadows.
And I'm just like, who's this? He sounds very intriguing.
He's a whole snack.
Oh gosh, yes. I get why you would want to cast Henry Cavill as him. And the only reason I feel like it could work is because Henry Cavill does a really good Geralt.
He is an excellent Geralt.
And so that's why I feel like it could work really well.
I feel like
I'm
he
still
can...
looking at blonde ones for Tamlin. I'm just telling you, Chris Carmack. He looks good to
Who
me.
the fuck is that?
I don't. He's this dude's.
Mystery to Opryland? I haven't seen it.
Let me
I don't
see.
know, but he looks like a good. He looks like a Tamlin to me. I don't know.
Can't.
Yeah, but can he like play?
Oh, he is on Grey's. He's
Oh.
on recent the later seasons of Grey's.
Yeah,
he
but
is.
like
Mm,
whoever
I like him,
plays
but-
whoever plays Tamlin has to like really lean into
Maybe one of the
being an
Hemsworths.
absolute unredeemable piece of shit.
One of the Hemsworths.
You know who would have
I mean,
to do it is
hot, but
Skarsgård.
still. Oh,
Yes.
but I like Alexander Skarsgård.
Okay, but Alexander Skarsgård is the only one who's like ruthless enough
No, but he's
to
still
play Tamlin
he's
and
Eric.
still do hot.
He's still Eric.
But he could do Tamlin because he
But
did
he's
Eric.
No,
Yes.
no, he's too.
Okay, there are
Skarsgård.
other hot Skarsgårds. There's like 5 of them.
Yeah, but Eric's still the hottest. I'm just
I
saying.
mean, there's Bill. Is it Bill that plays Pennywise? The younger brother?
Look, a Skarsgård. I'm throwing it out there. Tall, Swedish. All of them can play.
Hot
All of
Tamlin.
them can play like
Just
really,
put Skarsgård.
just really lean into the villain side of it, right? Because like they need to be able to walk that line of like that Stockholm syndrome, right? Of manipulating. Like they really have to.
But
truly
isn't that what happened
manipulate-
with Sookie? Oh,
But that's what I'm saying, right? Is that like they need to be able
Skarsgård.
to play that manipulative character that like is very morally gray, right? Where you're like, I understand why they're doing that, but also they're a terrible, irredeemable piece of shit. And then they also have to like go like way deep into it and play that like wet funking blanket of like an absolutely shell of a human later.
later on at the end of the book.
You know what I mean?
Well, let's get to that part.
I mean, so we did the fairy fucking to bring spring back.
Yeah, so we did the fairy
But
fucking
she
to bring
gets
spring back.
saved. She goes back to the house.
Rhysand slinks out of the woods, says, I'm a friend.
She
and then
goes
slinks
back.
back into the woods.
And then what's
Alice?
his bucket comes
Alice,
back
Lucian,
and bites her.
and then
Tamlin.
Tamlin comes back. He sees her in the hallway and bites her.
Because he's so horny for her.
Mm-hmm.
After he just fucks somebody else.
Horny is a word for it. It's a word for it.
You know, Jensen might be okay.
Well,
doable.
he's all pissed off because he's trying to woo her supposedly, and she says she doesn't want any sloppy seconds.
Right, which is good for her.
Yeah.
I feel like there is a better character for Tamlin. I can't tell you, or for him. I can't tell you
For who?
who it is yet.
Oh, for Jensen to
For
play in the
Jensen,
future books?
yeah.
Okay. Well,
For what?
I
for
think
Jensen out there.
Jensen, I think Jensen, if they could like put him in a wig, would be a really good Cassian.
For who? Cassian?
I can see it. Based on what I've seen of Cassian
He's not
on social
even in
media.
this book, guys.
No, he's
No, but that's why I'm saying we can't put him in this one because then he's gonna have to like completely switch characters.
Let's go. Let's keep moving.
But I can understand it based on what I've seen of AI generated Cassian.
Read the rest of the books, people. It gets so much better.
Oh,
Anyway.
yeah. You're gonna love him.
Anyway.
You're gonna love him.
So, and then some shit happens.
I don't even remember how they end up under the mountain.
No,
anymore.
something happens.
Oh, that's way later. Way later.
So the fairy fucking
Yes.
stuff happens.
A lot
He tries to be nicer.
a lot of emotional manipulation going on.
He takes her out to his favorite place, and they watch the sunset or the sunrise or something.
They swim in
They
starlight.
Yeah,
they
there's
kinda
a bunch of
moonlight.
like
They
or
get
some
close in the
shit.
water.
romantic bullshit.
But then there's some other fairy fun activity.
He takes the glamour off of her,
Oh yeah.
and then she realizes there are more than just the three people around
yeah,
her.
they're not just all high fae. For example,
Oh, that's right.
remember Alice is some other fae being. She's
so
like some,
Alice is from the northern side,
but she's
isn't
also
she?
some kind of wood sprite or
I think
something
she
like
is.
that.
She
Or
was
was she the water sprite?
She was one of the
No,
other
she was the wood
courts.
sprite.
She was.
She's from the one
She's
of
all
the,
barky.
She's one from one of the northern courts.
But she's also from
It's not
Summer
she's-
Court.
I think she's
She's
Summer
from Summer
Court.
Court.
She's
She's
Summer
Summer
Court.
Court.
She's
from
not from
Summer Court
Spring
originally.
But-
Yeah.
But at the time, Farah only sees Lucian, Race,
She thinks everybody's
Tamlin
a high fae.
and Alice because Tamlin's glamored her, so all she sees is that.
But then all the other people show up, all the other servants, all the gardeners.
And
Yeah.
she's horrified because she's been trying to sneak around.
And it's straight up fucking Downton Abbey in there, and there's
Yeah.
like people freaking everywhere, and she's like, "What is this?
Who are all these people? I
Who
didn't
are all
see
these
before?
servants?
And then all
Why are they here?" For like 4 whole fae that live in the castle.
Right, exactly. And then what happens? Tamlin and Farah don't fuck it. Rhysand shows up.
That's right. He comes for a conjugal visit.
What?
No.
No.
He just shows up to Spring Court and plays a prank.
No.
He puts a head on a spike.
That's right.
And-
That's right.
And
And
he says Amarantha is telling you to do something.
and Lucian is trying to hide.
Oh, that's
Farah.
right, because it's the end of the 50 years or whatever it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so he's trying to hide Farah.
Yes.
And Farah gives a fake name.
yes.
Yes. That's right.
And then Rhysand threatens and does all sorts of shit. And she's still like, ooh, he's tall, dark, and handsome. But I shouldn't tell him shit.
Scared
yes.
of them. She's
Yes,
scared
there's
of them.
very much that morally gray, willy
Mhm.
won't he kind of thing going
Which
on.
is what I love.
It's very
And
hot.
so the second time you've
And
met
she's like,
Rhysand.
oh my god, I've met him before.
Yes.
Yes.
But
She's
then
like,
the
why do you look
minute-
familiar?
The minute I met Rhysand, I was like, he would be a better fit for Farah.
See, I did not.
Because I didn't like Tamlin for her.
I knew where it was going. I knew that she was going to end up with Rhysand, but there was a fair amount of like, okay,
I didn't
is
didn't
this-
spoil anything before I read the book. I didn't see any social media posts. I just read it. And when I met Rhysand the second time, I was like, this feels like he would be a better fit, knowing nothing else was going to happen.
Yes.
But books tend to
She
be
is,
slightly
but
predictable. in
they
some
they
cases.
point out he is Amarantha's whore.
But there
Well,
was
yes.
also a fair amount of like, willy won't he, right?
Yes.
Like, is this the devil you don't know? Is the devil you don't know worse than the one you do?
Yeah.
Right? So, like, there was a little bit of that morally gray, like, okay, is he just gonna be Tamlin 2.0 and he's just, like, bigger and badder and assholier because he's, like,
Right.
you know, the big...
Amarantha's bitch. And
Yeah,
Yes.
this bitch,
But
and he's,
and then
like, in
there's-
charge of, you know, the northern courts or whatever it is,
Right.
So
right?
at the last minute, you finally get some sex, And
it's not even very good, spicy
not even good
sex.
sex.
You don't really...
I don't even remember the sex, and it's only been 4 months. Just saying.
I read the book last week and I don't remember the sex.
So this
Not in that book.
not
No,
Not in
there's-
this one.
So I
Later on.
This first book isn't very spicy. It's world building.
no.
It is definitely
This
world
one is
building.
world building. It's romantic.
It's a backstory.
It's the backstory. And so they fuck. Well, not they. It's Tamlin and Farah fuck.
Yes.
And Farah finds out a little bit about
And she
Tamlin
loves
and
him.
Raysan's backstory.
Yeah.
A little bit about Lucian's backstory.
Yes.
Not
Yes.
enough. And then
He sends
Tamlin
her home.
sends her home because he can't deal with it.
He cares about her, and he doesn't want.
Well, he tells her he loves her. But he's all kind of weepy and kind of, woe is me, I have to save you.
and then
and it
Lucian's like,
makes
just
her-
tell her, and he doesn't say anything more.
And then he makes her, like, she's a little weird about, like, I love him, but... And the fact that there's that hesitation.
I love him, but is this the Stockholm Syndrome talking? Right? Like...
Which made me, like, okay, obviously they're going to put him to... Like, for me, that happened, I was like, they're not endgame. The minute you hesitate, there's that... He's not endgame.
He sends her home to be safe.
And that's where she finds out he has taken excellent care of her family.
Excellent.
Like, they're wealthy, she's been with an aunt, taking care of a dead aunt.
quote unquote, found the ship that had supposedly gotten
Disappeared,
lost.
whatever,
so
And
the
now
money's
Dad has
back,
all the money. They
everything.
have a mansion.
Elaine is none the wiser.
No.
They're living the high life.
The dad is none the wiser. Nesta is still very bitter and angry, but then you find out
Well,
that...
but Nesta, to be fair, I think looks at all of it and goes, like, there's a catch here, isn't there?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like...
Well, and she talks about how, like, it turns out having a strong will means you can overcome the glamour.
Yes,
Yes.
because she is not glamour.
Yes,
No, and so and you find out, like, as much as she, like, acts
And
like
to
she...
be fair, I love Nesta because she doesn't take shit off of anybody.
Yes.
I
And,
still
like,
did not like Nesta at this
I
but
really liked...
I
I start to like her
appreciate-
much, much more.
point. At that point.
She
yeah.
came off as a little bit of a shrew in the beginning.
Yes.
Yes.
And then because she's
But that
like...
was intentional.
But she was like, I wasn't glamored. I went to try to find you.
Yes.
You disappeared. I know we have no aunt. And like
She did go looking
knows.
for her.
Yes.
Yes.
And like it makes you feel much more like you understand her a little bit more. Because she opens up about her like bitterness and hatred toward their father.
Yeah, Nesta's not just a raging bitch for the sake of being a raging bitch.
And she's not like a one-dimensional character.
No.
There's so
No.
much depth in that.
Yes.
And so Nesta and Farah become closer during this.
Yes.
It's not great. They don't repair it completely, but they get
They're
closer.
not friends, but like...
But they understand each other.
But they're like...
I think
they're-
they respect each
they're
other.
the
They
solid
care that they're
average-
sisters.
They're the solidly average sisters who have very wildly different personalities.
But they've come to understand and respect each
Yes.
other at this
So
point.
Farrah realizes right away that she loves Tamlin. She can't just leave that whole house and all her people, Alice and
It
everyone.
took her a couple of weeks to realize
Okay,
they're
but
not
she-
endgame.
She goes back and is like,
Yeah.
I need to save them, and then no one's there.
and then
Except for
Alice tells
Except
the
for
story
Alice.
and
Yes.
tells about what's her bitch.
Amarantha.
Who should play Amarantha?
Whoever played the red sorceress in Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That's who I
Missandei?
thought of.
Melisande.
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 Yeah.
Her name.
That's
her
a
name
cut-
escapes
that's a
me.
cut.
Okay, who
Character.
played Melisande?
Yeah, when I was reading that,
Mhm.
that is
That's
who
what
I
pictured.
imagined in my head was Melisande from Game of
Or
Thrones.
someone that could play that. Yeah.
But like it's like a very similar. I shouldn't say the exact same character because that's not quite true. But like a very similar character.
But
right?
she's strong. She's a little older. She was a general in Hybern's army.
But Melisande and Amarantha are both very, very old magical women.
magical, taking power.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Therese
just-
Van Houten?
Just whoever that was. Again,
So-
just stick her in there. Amarantha is
Amarantha.
not that big of a stretch from Melisande.
Amelia Clark?
Maybe. No, I have a
No.
different idea for Amelia Clark.
Okay.
I have a different idea.
So
for
we
Amelia
still
Clark.
think Anne Hathaway for Farah
So far.
so far.
We can
Because
keep-
Anne Hathaway has that girl next door kind of vibe to her.
Who would be Alex? Because I mean,
shit.
these are the only characters. Well, hold on. We would need
Emma. Shit. Emma.
I see her as an older.
He's the British actor. Emma.
This would be an older
Emma.
a
Oh,
dame.
I know who you're talking about. The one that does everything. She's wonderful.
The one who's in like fucking everything.
Thompson.
Yes.
Emma
Emma Thompson.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see it.
Can you see it? Like Emma Thompson could play aloof.
Nesta.
Right.
We would need to cast Nesta and Elaine. Those are critical.
Oh, I don't know. We learn more about. Okay.
Well, we know nothing, so maybe we have to wait on those.
If we think of someone, but Nesta, I think is a bigger woman. Like not big, but like taller woman.
Nesta is taller, and Nesta is
Fierce.
Nesta needs to be
Badass.
able to hold herself against you know who. Like you can't just stick anybody in there. Like they have to be able to play off of whoever plays the other character.
Well, and so the thing is, like, we're casting everything, but we're starting with Akatar. So whoever we cast for Nesta, we know has to work future.
Which is why I'm saying that, like, we have to think about Nesta.
Okay, so we'll hold off on casting Nesta.
Mm-hmm.
But this is so she's come back.
Elaine goes back to the spring court. Yes.
No, not Elaine.
Not Elaine.
Farrah. Farrah goes back to the spring court, and Alice is all that's left.
Yes.
Why did I do Tom Santa?
I don't know, man. We're drinking the fairy wine and having a good time.
Woof.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she goes back, and Alice tells her as much as she can, which is a lot. You find out about the curse, or not the curse. The blight is actually the magic from the queen, whose name I still forgot.
Amarantha?
Yes, her. So, and then there's like a portal to Under the Mountain. Which really, is that what it's called? Give it a different name, not Under the Mountain.
Under the Mountain used to be a sacred place to the Fae.
But now it's Under the Mountain. So,
Sophie Turner as Nesta.
Let's see.
Could you see it?
I mean, Sophie does it. I mean, she starts as kind of this. I can see
maybe.
it.
Because she does. I'm just on a Game of Thrones.
She's Sansa.
Because she's Sansa Stark, who has a very similar arc to Nesta.
You're gonna get all my people mixed up if they're all from Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I can see it.
But she can also hold her own against other actors, right? Like,
because Sophie Turner played Jean Grey,
yes.
and as not great as those movies were,
I think she could do it, and I think Sophie Turner could pull off. Nesta doesn't do anything without a reason. I think she could pull it off. Because I think Jennifer Lawrence is a little too...
J-Law's a little too old.
Is a little too old, is a little too...
No, and J-Law doesn't...
Yeah.
Yeah. J-Law, if
Kristen
she was
Stewart?
No.
No.
J-Law, if she was younger, could probably do Farrah. If
Yes.
this was like a decade
Yes.
ago when
Yes.
all that came out, it would have made sense.
But I think that... But I also don't want to do too much of that parallel
Right,
between
exactly.
Katniss and Farrah, so...
No.
Yeah, Sophie Turner I can see as Nesta.
Because I could see the woman from The Witcher, God, what is her name?
Who plays
Elaine.
Yennefer? Siri.
I'm thinking Siri for Elaine, but I think Anya Chalotra could also do Nesta. I think Anya Chalotra is a little too old for it.
Anya Taylor-Joy for Farrah.
Ooh, I hadn't thought of that. Yes.
I think Anya Taylor-Joy
I could see
would
that.
do
I
it.
could see that. Because Farrah does a pretty big 180 arc, right?
She could do it. I don't know enough about Elaine.
We can wait on
Which
Elaine.
which is why I'm thinking...
It's harder to cast.
Yeah, which is why I'm thinking of What's Her Nuts from The Witcher.
Who do you have for you guys have been talking about?
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Anya Taylor-Joy.
For
She does
Farrah?
Furiosa.
Oh. What about Nesta. Sophie Turner.
Nesta. Well, what about who was I thinking of? Fuck, I lost it. It was in the same. It was in kind of the realm. I had someone else as an alternative for Nesta that I thought of that I lost. We'll come back as names return
Yeah, we'll
to
come
us.
back as...
Because we're doing a multiple thing, so we're going to be casting
Yeah.
a lot of characters.
I see this one. I like this gal, Sophie Skelton. She's in
Oh, yeah.
Outlander.
Yeah.
She's the daughter in Outlander.
Oh, yeah, she could... You know what? She could do Nesta.
That would be good. Yeah.
She could do Nesta.
Sophie
Now that you say
Skelton.
that... Yeah, no, I know
Oh,
what you're talking about.
She's kind of tall.
No, Nesta's up there.
Up there.
Yes.
Right.
You mean the redhead,
The redhead, Sophie Skeleton.
who plays Brianna?
Yes.
I kinda
Okay,
like
I
her,
can see it.
too.
I can see
Could
it.
you see it?
She's kind of tough and nice. Like,
I can see it.
Anyway, where did we leave off?
okay.
Oh,
We were
Alice
talking about
telling-
Amarantha.
Alice telling Farah where to go
How to get under the mountain.
Under the mountain, that's right.
Amarantha.
That's right.
And she shows up and meets the demon creature dude,
Oh,
the Atar,
they're horrible.
Yes.
who just looks like a giant bat in all the AI generated stuff I've seen.
I don't know though. He's worse in real life.
Yeah.
And-
He's a horrible creature that takes her to Amarantha and then makes a bargain or a deal.
But by this
about-
point, Tamlin's all pussy whip.
yes.
I mean, yes. He always was.
Well,
He
But
again.
we didn't know it until
We
get
yeah.
under the mountain, and then he's just.
Oh my god! If you so take it away, back out. You got Akatar, Beauty and the Beast vibes right now, right? Tamlin is so not the Beast.
No.
Tamlin
So
is
Tamlin is manipulative like the Beast, but when it really boils down to
when it comes down to life or death,
he's
he
really
does
the biggest
jack
bottom.
shit.
He's the
he's the one
biggest.
that turns into a beast.
He's the biggest bottom bitch, man.
He's a shapeshifter.
Amarantha looks at him and he's like, "Spank me harder, mommy." Like, serious as a heart attack.
So according to Lucian, this whole time, like, he won't even talk to Farah. He just sits there and lets her be a bitch to her and hurt her and all this stuff. And he just sits there. And according to Lucian, it's because he doesn't want to show emotion so that Amarantha doesn't know how much he cares.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Because then you counter that with the action. We haven't gotten to it, but what Rhysand does.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
the
Yes.
dichotomy, right?
But
But
you
anyway.
also have to remember that Lucian is just trying to stay alive. Also,
Well,
at this
Lucian
point,
is
right?
Lucian is on the brink of getting
Lucian
killed all the time.
does some
Lucian
shitty
is-
shit just
The-
to
when
stay
you
alive.
find
Amarantha popped his eye out the
No,
last time.
she popped out her sister's lover's eye out.
Yeah, so the other what's
Her
his
the
nuts
ring-
is
No.
the one who's in
He
there.
has one eye. He
No,
has the
that's
mechanical
Lucian.
eye. Lucian
Yes.
has the mechanical eye because of Amarantha last time.
And then the ring she wears with the eyeball is her sister's.
Like some sorcerer's
Bullshit
eyeball
lover.
or something like that.
We haven't
yeah.
even mentioned that yet. That comes back later. We need
Yeah,
to talk
that
about
comes
Well,
that.
okay, so
later.
you find out a little bit about the story about why Amarantha is the way she is.
So she loved her sister, and her sister fell in love with this
Human.
human, and he backstabbed her. And so to get revenge, because he fought with her in the war, to get revenge, she pops his eye out and keeps like a finger bone or
And
toe
keeps
bone
his
or
soul.
something.
So his consciousness is alive
in the eyeball.
Yes.
in the ring.
His consciousness is alive in her ring.
So she's torturing the guy. So you can kind of see where
Yes,
she's
because
coming from.
to back up, there was a war 1,000 years ago between the fairies, or something 1,000 years ago, or something like that.
Yeah,
No, it has to be
And
like
that's how
50
the
years.
wall- and that's
It's
how the
50 years
wall-
because she took over, and that's
Yeah.
why everything happened.
I thought it was
Fairies
longer.
fought
maybe.
fairies fought fairies, and because some of them sided with the humans, and so some wanted to
I thought
take
the wall
over.
was older than that.
Okay, so the
no, the
timeline.
wall was like 50 years old.
Yeah,
that put
it's-
up after the war.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's maybe like, okay, 50 to 100 years. Let's just ballpark it.
Yeah.
We might be wrong with the timeline because all of us have not reread the book since.
Yes, it's been a minute.
Because.
And the plots run together with all the other ones now.
We're
But,
trying
like-
not to add things from the other books.
Yeah.
So you find all her story, and then Farah is like, I love him, but it's like it's too late, and she finds out about the thingy, and then there's a challenge about 3 trials, which is...
Well, so Amarantha says you can either answer the riddle or you can go through the 3 trials if you want to get through it. Otherwise, you die.
Yes.
Really, really badly. And she
well,
knows how badly
So
because
the trials don't have a timeline on when she's going to release them.
yeah, it's like every month.
No,
She
no,
has
no.
to be there for
There
like
wasn't,
months.
there wasn't a limit on when she was releasing them,
Them
but
after the
Farrah
trials
only had
were
a certain amount
completed.
of time to get them all done.
Yes. She had a certain amount of time.
She had like one a month on like a full moon.
Right,
or
but
something.
it was... Once the trials were completed, there was no timeline for release.
Yeah, so she had like 24 hours or 48 hours or something like that to finish the trial, but then after that it was like an unknown.
Like,
So backing up, she knows how bad it's going to be because she sees her old neighbor, the one she gave the name to
Yes,
to, and
she's
she is
been,
like,
literally nailed to a wall.
yeah, she's been nailed to the wall. It's like drawn, quartered, that sort of thing, like bad.
No, there was
Disemboweled
there
her.
was a time limit on it because it's like, aren't we approaching the end of the 50 years and like
No, the 50 years
The 50
is up.
years
That's
is
why
over.
Tamlin's there.
That's why Tamlin is there. Because at the end of the 50 years, if Farah didn't fall in love, a woman who hated fairies, a human that hated fairies didn't fall in love with Tamlin by the end of the 50 years,
okay.
Tamlin would become her prisoner.
So that's why they're under the mountain.
I must have like blocked.
But she
this
says
dumb
there's
book.
going to be like on each full moon or something.
Right, no.
Yeah,
So the
there's gonna be
trials
a
did not
trial.
have a timeline, but Farah didn't think to negotiate. One, if she completes all 3 trials, they get released immediately. If Farah completes all the trials, Amarantha can release them. Will release them, but she never specifies when she'll release them.
No.
However, if Farah answers the riddle, Amarantha will release them immediately. This is the riddle. And we've backtracked. We never talked about Tamlin is the High Lord of the Spring Court.
Yes.
Rhysand is High Lord of the Night Court.
Yes.
And so that plays about with their
We've been
power.
dancing around it a little bit, but
Yes.
like the Night
Lucian
Court
is the youngest
son of the High Lord
of the Autumn Court.
Autumn Court. Yeah.
But like technically Rhysand like has purview over all of the other courts or something
In the
because
north.
He was like in the north.
But they also talk.
He's the strongest High
He's
Lord.
like the
He's the
High
most
Lord,
powerful.
Yeah.
But the reason that they're all there is because Amarantha has taken some of all of their powers. They're
Mhm.
all depleted.
Like if Rhysand wanted to, he could also beat the shit out of Tamlin. Like nobody fucks around with Rhysand, right?
Right. Anyway, so this is the riddle, and I'm sorry. I get the riddles. I feel like Sarah J. Maas intentionally made it super obvious,
Really
super
stupid.
obvious.
except Farah can't figure out. So this is the riddle. There are those who seek me a lifetime, but never we meet, and those I kiss, but who trample me beneath ungrateful feet. At times I seem to favor the clever and the fair, but I bless all those who are brave enough to dare. By large my ministrations are soft-hearted and sweet, but scorned I become a difficult beast to defeat. For though each of my strikes lands a powerful blow, when I kill I do it slow. And I will say, when I read this, the first 2 lines I was like, it's love, right?
Yeah, everybody was like, what? Love?
But
Yeah.
but it goes with the theme, right? Because she was supposed to fall in love with Tamlin, and
But-
she didn't.
But, I mean, Farah is a little...
Look, Farrah's a wreck, man.
Well, and she's not educated. She was
She's
never
not educated.
educated.
She can't read. That's right. Oh, that's right.
She can't read.
She can't read.
So that's
And
how
so she was trying to learn how to
not
read.
Tamlin, that's how Lucian almost dies in the second.
Yeah, because she's illiterate.
Yeah.
Poor thing.
Right. So she can't figure it out because, again, she hasn't been educated in that stuff. And
There's a trial where Rhysand literally has to feed her the answer.
Yes.
Because she can't read
so,
for shit.
so she can't figure it out, so they start the trials. Except before the trials happen, or is it, when does her arm get broken?
After
When
the
does
first-
Lucian heal her?
After the second trial.
That's the first trial.
Right.
Rhysand fixes her the second time.
Okay.
So after
That's
the
right,
first
okay,
one,
that's
that
right.
monster thing.
So
beats
it's
the
the
shit out of her.
monster, so there's the worm.
Oh,
Then.
the Midgard worm.
But the worm was the third trial.
The worm is the first
No,
trial.
no, the
first
third
trial.
trial's when she stabs them. There's only 3 trials. The third
So
trial's the stabbing.
the first trial is the worm hunting.
Is the worm.
The second trial is the riddle levers reading.
Reading.
Where Rhysand has to tell her what to do.
And then
Yes.
the third one is where she's got to stab people and kill them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So the first trial,
because they
she-
bring in all the fairies and she has to kill them.
So she has to fight the worm, and she's just running.
The
But
Midgard
then,
worm, yeah.
but then she's like, then she realizes they want to see a hunt.
Because she's a hunter, they know that.
Yeah.
So she becomes a hunter, and she sinks back into it because we didn't cover this.
She kills the worm and everyone in the,
Well,
under the
we
mountain
didn't
is like,
cover
oh my
this.
god, nobody's done that before.
We didn't cover this though because she and Lucian talk about it, I think, or her and Tamlin, where she doesn't want to be a hunter anymore. When he gets her all the paint.
Because she just wants to paint shit
Yeah,
all day.
she became a
And be
hunter
literate.
out of necessity, not because she loves it.
Yes.
But she's good at it.
But
and
she's
they all
good at it.
know she's a
She's-
hunter.
damn good at it.
But then she hunts and she like breaks a bunch of shit. And Rhysand makes a shit ton of money off of her because he bet on her.
because he's pulling the strings of all of this,
But
essentially.
she waits for Tamlin, but Lucian
But again, the whole thing with Rhysand is like, I feel like
Rhysand is playing both sides
He is,
at this particular juncture.
but at the same time, I feel like too, like he is playing both sides, but I think there's something where I think Tamlin, and there's
a reason Rhysand is playing both sides, and you find out why.
Well, so I also get the feeling that
I wasn't gonna give it all away.
well, based on what I've just been able to discover and figure out, I feel like Tamlin, after everything happens, Tamlin's gonna become really overbearing.
Oh yeah, no, he's awful.
And whereas Rhysand acknowledges her strength and recognizes it, whereas Tamlin has always been kind of like...
This is her speculation, because she's only read the first book.
Because
Because you're only supposed to have read the first book.
Okay,
I
but
only
you're
read
also
the first
not wrong,
book.
But she's also not wrong.
But I also can't. No,
she's
plot
not.
points and shit show up to me, and I figure shit out. It's fine.
Look,
Again,
man, she's read enough romance so you know where this is going.
So,
I already know. I already know Farah and Rhysand are endgame.
yeah.
But that's not subtle, right?
No,
like, that's
it's
not
not.
like you look at TikTok and you figure that
Yes,
out.
but like that's what I'm saying. Like the way Rhysand reacts to her and his
Yeah.
actions. Yes, he's playing both sides, but you can see the difference in his actions towards her versus Tamlin's actions. Tamlin's very protective
Exclusively self-preservation.
and like very protective, very overbearing.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Rhysand steps back and is like, you know, you have power, kind of ish.
Yeah, but there's a little.
But there's a bit of the whole playing the game. But
yeah,
like he's also
he toys with Farah a little.
He
bit.
does.
He does.
but the difference between them is very much she needs to be cosseted and coddled by Tamlin, whereas Rhysand is
yes.
like, you don't need this
But
shit.
Tamlin's a pretty classic narcissist,
Yes.
right? Like in order for him to keep this game going, he has to keep manipulating Farah into thinking that she's too stupid to do anything for herself.
I
Whereas
need
whereas
to keep you under
Rhysand
control.
is more of a gives enough and like I'll help you, but also I'm not going to be great about it.
But Rhysand is like not an irredeemable piece of shit.
No, I love.
Like,
Anyway, so that's the first trial.
But after the first trial and she actually wins, the monster thing beats her up.
The Attar.
I always thought it was a tor.
Attor.
I went French and went Attar.
Attor beats, or at some point the Attor beats her up, but Lucian sneaks in and fixes her.
And heals her.
Yes.
And that's the first trial end.
No, we were talking about the worm, so Lucian fixes her after
From the worm.
Right?
The Attor is the second trial,
After the
right?
trial.
Oh.
After the second trial.
Because it was the bat thing.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
So after the
That's
second
right.
The
It's been a
second
while.
trial.
But Rhysand basically...
Well, she waits and waits for Lucian.
But doesn't
and Lucian doesn't come.
So the second, so she's got time. Nothing happens.
But doesn't Rhysand have to, like, twist himself into a pretzel and call it a braid with Amarantha to, like, basically be allowed to go see...
No, there was something...
He sneaks there.
He sneaks there. But what I think, I can't remember. So after the trial and after Lucian heals her, she's there. And nothing happens for a while.
Yes, she's just hanging out there.
And then the second trial comes, and then she's supposed to, like, decipher the riddle.
But she can't
But
read.
she can't read. And, like, the answers are literally over the
Well,
levers.
that. So, and then Rhysand is, like, trying to feed her stuff, but also for her...
But I don't think Rhysand realizes that she's illiterate until she gets into the pit.
What she realizes is that she touches each lever... The ones that she shouldn't
He
pull.
basically uses his mind power to tell her which lever to pull.
They like burn her.
He has to be sneaky.
Because he has to be sneaky.
He can't just be like, choose that one!
Right,
Yes.
and so it's a whole thingy, and then she figures it out by basing on feel and that, and so she pulls the lever and saves herself. But then the bat...
Well, and Lucian at the last minute.
Yes.
Yes.
And the Attar... Oh, that's right, because it's Lucian that's strung up because he
Yes.
tried to save her.
Yes.
And then the Attar beats the ever-living shit out of her.
So she's broken. And she's down in that
fucked up.
pit of a dungeon.
So she is waiting for
Lucian to come
save her, but he never shows up. But Rhysand does.
Yes.
And then he has to negotiate her coming to his court.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he saves her, but the negotiation...
He saves her, but the deal is that, like, she's his for a week out of the
so
month.
it's supposed to be like 2 weeks out of the month, but she negotiates...
I thought it was a week.
1 week
I
every
thought it was
month.
only a week.
It started as the negotiation
Oh.
started, but she's like 1 week,
1 week.
a month.
And then, so they
Yes.
make that deal, and she's like, well, better that than dead.
Right.
Yes.
And so he saves her life, and you get the cool tattoo.
Oh, so yeah, when he heals her,
Yeah,
when
he
you
marks her.
make a deal with the Fae, you get a tattoo.
You get marked, basically.
And then we start the fairy wine drinking, dancing shit.
Okay, so also part of it is she will go with him, and so he gives her fairy wine so she doesn't know what the hell's going on.
And she like does a whole strip dance or something.
Yeah, the strip dance thing, embarrasses herself in front of everyone, and he shows her off at the parties.
But he's also you find out like a little bit of the while he opens up to her a little bit, and he's doing it partially to fuck with Tamlin, which I love.
Yeah, Tamlin is pissed.
100%.
But Tamlin doesn't do shit, and then finally like he tells Farrah,
he says
like
he can't do anything because
Rhysand rightfully hates Tamlin.
yes, and then which
for lots of reasons.
you don't find. I don't find out in Akatar. You find out later.
No, that's what I'm
from I
saying.
can tell.
Rightfully,
You find out later.
But what I do, what was it? Pisses him off. But he also acknowledges, look, the fact that he loves you and how pissed he is at you, when you do win, he will destroy the queen. Because of how his rage.
Well, he's like, I know you love Tamlin. I won't get in your way, basically.
But he's also like, I also am manipulating Tamlin because Tamlin's rage.
But I'm
will
good
be,
to piss off Tamlin.
Yeah,
like, there's
like,
more to it, but he's like,
He's like, you want to gang up against Tamlin? Wink, wink.
We'll piss him off because he'll take out the queen.
Yes.
Kind of deal.
Yes.
And then, so he heals her. The deal is done. There's a dance party. She makes out with Tamlin.
Well, so
At a party.
Tamlin gets away supposedly, and she gets to finally be with him alone in some dark room.
And then some shit happens.
All he wants to do is fuck.
And then Rhysand...
And she's like, wait, can we just talk?
Right, and then Rhysand shows up with the queen and some other stuff that I can't remember.
And then covers for her and Tamlin.
Yes, he covers for her. Again, he's playing the game.
Yes.
But and I think that is when it's either right before or right after that when he opens up to Farrah and she gets more insight into him as a Lord of the Night Court.
Yeah.
And who he is. And a little bit more about the
And then the
details.
next day is supposed to be the last trial.
The last trial where Farrah finds out she has to stab and kill fairies.
Yeah,
no
and she
questions.
doesn't want to stab and kill any being that's like innocent.
But she kills two, and then the last one you realize is Tamlin.
Yes.
And then there's some
The third
thing someone says Tamlin has a heart of stone.
And she realizes he won't die if she stabs him, so she stabs him.
Because he literally has a heart of stone.
And then, so she wins the trials, but the queen is like, I'm not going to release you because you never specified a timeline.
You have to be very specific with your fairy deals.
Yes, you always have to be specific with your fairy deals. And
They're basically attorneys.
It's not restricted to Sarah J. Maas's books. It's all of the books that anything that you read with Fae, because the fairies are tricksters.
Yes.
But then, finally, after all of this bullshit, Farrah figures out the answer to the riddle that we all figured out in the first two lines.
Oh, shit.
We all knew it the whole time.
Yeah.
And the minute she figures it out, all the masks fall.
Yes.
Tamlin does shit.
And they all turn out to be exactly as hot as she thought they were.
But then she's dying.
Yes.
Or she's dead.
Oh, no, Amarantha kills her.
Kills her.
Yes.
And so
After
Tamlin finally kills Amarantha.
But then they all...
But then Rhysand has to lead her back.
give her
Tamlin asks,
magic.
and so all the High
All
Lords
of the High Lords, including Rhysand,
give her a little bit of life power.
Yes.
So she becomes High
Yes.
Fae.
Yes.
And Rhysand...
So they make her. They
bring her back as High Fae. As one of the High... She will become the High Lady of something.
High Fae.
It's very obvious she's going to be High Lady of something.
Yes.
But then, as it happens, Rhysand... They're all leaving. Rhysand says something to her about, I'll see you whenever at my court, at Night Court.
Because you made that deal with me.
Because we made that deal. Tamlin's all like, what the fuck did you do? Look on his face.
Why would you do that?
Why would you do that? It's like, well, she needed to stay alive, you fucker.
And you didn't take care of it.
So they go back to the spring court
and then it's over.
And then it's over. But there's a lot of stuff that I'm like, okay, she's going to be... So Farrah's going to be High Lady of something.
But remember, Tamlin has told her there are no High Ladies.
Well, Tamlin's a douchebag.
That's not a thing.
No. Well, you don't figure out, in the middle, after the second trial, when Farrah saves Lucian, Lucian's mom helps her.
Yes, she does.
And Lucian's mom is High Lady of the Autumn Court.
No, there are no High Ladies.
She introduces herself.
Yeah, but she's not, there are no High Ladies. She's like a consort, basically.
distinctly remember.
Does she call herself
think
a high
so.
lady? I thought maybe it was.
She is the lady of.
I thought there were high ladies of individual courts, not high ladies of like overall.
Well, she's High Lady of the Autumn Court.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
But
'Cause,
Tamlin
like, we find
specifically
out-
says there are no high lady. Like, there are no...
No, she's the Lady of the Autumn Court.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are no high ladies.
There are no high ladies.
But they keep specifying
It's
high.
implied.
It's like
It's
she's going to
implied.
become High Lady of something.
Something, indeed.
She's going to become High Lady of the Night Court. My predictions. Tamlin's a douchebag who's going to fall. Something's going to funny and weird is going to happen to Lucian. There's going to be a discovery. Something's going to come out and secrets. Nesta ends up in Faeland.
Claire and I are like...
I'm not saying anything.
We're
Laura
not
keeps
saying
yelling
it,
at
we're
me
just
for giving
laughing.
it away.
We're just laughing.
Like, those are what I figure is going to happen. Based on the doom scrolling and stuff.
Most
I've
of those
seen.
are correct.
But we still can't say anything because...
Most of those are correct.
Tamlin and Farrah are
now
not
we're going to
endgame.
let Christina read all the rest of the books.
Technically.
Tamlin and Farrah are not endgame. Stuff's gonna happen. Maybe they'll be together for a bit, but they're not endgame.
TikTok doesn't call people tampon for a reason.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, he's tampon.
He doesn't get any better.
No,
he
I
does not
already
get
hate
any
him.
better.
I already hate him. Look, this was...
He literally gets worse.
He is like literally
He
supposed
gets
to
worse.
be everybody's punching bag.
good.
Everything goes downhill for him from
Yes,
there.
really it does. Really
Well,
it
I
does.
don't like him.
He's just
It goes downhill from here.
he's just a sad sack.
I don't like him. Like, you can... He's so manipulative.
You're not going to like him any better.
No, you're not gonna like him any better when he gets sad and mopes
Yeah.
around.
I know. I can already see what's gonna happen. He's gonna get all overbearing with her, and shit's gonna happen, and she's gonna resent it and leave him.
He's a wet blanket. He never
She's
stops
going
being a
to
wet
leave
blanket.
him because he's so overbearing and controlling and manipulative that the veil over her eyes about her love for him is gonna fall off, and she's gonna hate him, and she's gonna end up with Rhysand, and shit's gonna happen there.
How do you think she leaves him?
I don't know, stabs him through the heart.
She already did that.
Rips,
And we've
You
the,
already did that.
and we-
rips the heart
And
out.
we've established that he has a heart of stone and basically can't die.
Rips the heart out, takes his head off,
I mean, they can die.
buries him alive, and
She
under
did
the
stab him in
mountain.
the heart, though.
Feeds him to the queen.
Queen's dead.
What queen?
I don't
There's
know.
no queens left to feed him to.
They ran-
The
Unless
queen,
she
who the queen
Unless she
goes
feeds him to the Ator.
feeds him to who the queen used to support. What's his face?
Oh, King of Hybern?
Hybern. Yes. I don't know how she's gonna leave him, but she's gonna leave him. I haven't figured that one out. There's not enough clues in the first book right now for me to figure that out.
Yep.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I haven't read it enough yet.
Mhm.
I read it once.
Mm-hmm.
If I read it again, I'll
When I say this second book is just just completely different, I'm not shitting.
No.
like, okay,
I was like, just get through the first book,
It's like,
right,
but
Claire?
like,
I was like,
the
get through the first book and be good.
farther you get into it, the more ACOTAR becomes like, what the fuck? What the fuck was that? Like, I understand it was world building, but also, like, everyone in this book is awful. Everyone in this book is awful.
okay, so we should try to at least review the book.
Including Tall, Dark, and Handsome. He is also awful. in
He
this book.
is, but you can
Yes.
understand his
He doesn't
Tall,
become
Dark, and
not
Okay.
awful.
He's
until
Tall, Dark,
later.
and Handsome. That's he's supposed to be awful.
Okay,
He's Tall,
so
Dark, and Handsome.
Our books are read while drunk, spit, sip, and swallow.
I mean, this was a swallow, but also drink while you read it.
Yes. It was like both at the same time.
Yes.
A swallow, but read while drunk.
It's amazing, but you also need to be slightly drunk to
Yes.
make your way through
So
it.
it's a swallow plus, well,
And then spiciness
swallow,
level.
sip while drunk.
Disturbing lack,
Lack
of
of
dicks.
Yeah, there's a
Disturbing lack.
Disturbing lack of dicks.
So one chili pepper
yes.
and smiley heart eyes, but also drunk face.
Yes.
Look, man, these fae are like hung like horses, and we don't even talk about
It's a good...
how well they're hung.
It's a prequel, so you know all the background.
This
so you
is
can
world
get into
building.
the
It's world
story.
building.
It's
It's-
world building, and actually, it does a really good job of
It
world
does
building.
a fantastic
And
job of
you
world
were at
building.
the best spot. You're about to start the second book.
It is a completely different. Like, you will just, like, you'll read the second book, and then you will not be able to
Second,
stop.
third, and fifth.
I will finish.
I really want you to read the fifth book, because, like,
The
I will
fourth
get
is
to
the
it.
fourth is just a breath of like a relaxation.
the fourth
fresh
will take
air.
you 27 seconds to read.
Yeah, for you.
Roughly. Took me, like, maybe 4 hours.
And the drink.
And then drinks.
Oh.
I mean, it's wine. I would put it.
Everybody
solidly-
likes wine.
We finished the bottle, so I would say it's
All
at least a
inclusive?
4.
At least a 4. I mean, I brought it back from fucking Turkey.
It was very good.
This is an excellent rosé.
We brought it back from Turkey.
Excellent rosé.
Christina has turned me into a bougie drunk in like many, many ways. The Turkish rosé is just one of them.
Yeah, unfortunately,
I'm not normally a rosé girl because it comes off so sweet. Like the notes are usually so
I like
sweet.
the idea of sweet, but I just can't drink a lot
I don't
of
like
it.
sweet
I
wine.
just can't
love
drink a
dry
lot of it.
rosés.
It makes me sick.
So I have a bottle of sparkling rosé.
Like I want my wine to be borderline like Warhead.
So I have a bottle of
I don't
sparkling
want that.
rosé. It is not a high end. It's not expensive. Like you can get a bottle for like $12 or $13.
Yeah.
It's Riondo. It is a dry rosé.
Isn't that sparkling rosé you put in the fridge?
I just
Yes.
had one that was
So that
local.
I have gotten. I will go through bottles of that shit.
I
at a
have
time.
had that before, and that's
I need
good.
to get us
and you
this
just get
local
that
one.
anywhere.
Yeah,
There's
that's
this
a-
local
that's-
rosé that's pretty dry, and it's like they left the skins on a little extra long, and so it's kind of a dark, but it's dry rosé.
When you
Yeah.
say local rosé, you mean like regional to where we are?
Yes.
Really?
They
I'm
have
gonna
some
have to-
regional
yeah.
rosés. Yeah.
Okay, but like regional wine to me is always just like sickly sweet.
Not
and it's
sweet. No,
disgusting.
no, no.
No, we've had a couple of local that aren't super
Okay.
sweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
hmm
But
I
like-
had it recently. I have to tell you about it.
I'm just going wrong wineries. Then.
We
I
we
know.
don't. No one, I think, of
I like
our
that one
three
out
of
by
us
me, too.
like the sickly sweet ones.
I don't like.
I
them.
kind of like them every once in a blue moon, just because I know I'm doing it. But in general, no.
The sickly sweet.
I can't drink too much of it. My
depending-
tummy hurts. I get a headache.
The sickly sweet
But-
ones, you can. I use them sporadically when I make my sangria.
But
Because
a
it-
Concord, every once in a while, like a Concord, oh.
The sweet stuff works good in sangria.
Or as Mr. Laurel would say, because he's from that area, Concord.
I mean, to be fair though, my sangria is very lethal and will knock you on
Look,
your ass.
your sangria will
Your
kill
everything will knock you on your ass.
Mm.
Your sangria made me black out. Christina.
You also had a shit ton of tequila that night.
Okay, I was like people kept handing me liquors that night, and I was like sipping on the sangria, which did not like improve my situation. But anyway,
So just a heads up, it's a white sangria. I might share the recipe, but it's not
there's
a
like 4 kinds of liquor in it.
It's
and only
not a
one
hard
of them
and
is
fast.
wine.
It's not a hard and fast recipe. There's 6 bottles in it.
It's like a Long Island wine.
4 or 5 of which are usually liquor.
It barely qualifies as sangria. It is.
It's like a Long Island, but the splash is the wine.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about my margaritas. My margaritas are tequila flavored with margarita mix.
Okay, but like even if I drink a double tequila with just like a splash of margarita mix, it doesn't fuck me up nearly as bad as the sangria did.
No, but if you have margaritas like we did in Mexico.
Okay, but you were ordering the margaritas, and I didn't realize how drunk I was until I sat down for lunch.
Yes, my liver tends to.
Do not let Stina order the margaritas in Mexico.
Just don't
Are
let
you
me.
are you a Stina orderer?
Yeah, how do you order your cocktails? Do you want them do you want them booze forward, liquor forward, or spirit forward is what they call it, where you can taste the booze?
No, I want it to
Or
jump. I want it to surprise me like Rhysand. I want it smooth and
You want it to slink out of the shadows and
Yes.
be like, I'm your friend.
exactly. That's what I
like the
want.
way Henry Cavill would say it and not whatever the fuck that was.
Yes.
Henry Cavill as Geralt.
Henry Cavill is Geralt.
Okay, so
I'm your friend.
That is my drink.
So at the end of ACOTAR book discussion, we have our casting. So we have Glenn
So
Powell.
far.
So far. We might change it. So we have Glenn Powell as Lucian. Even though we've
I
seen
don't
him.
know that one. I'm
That-
still iffy on
We
that.
have, again, this is all just right now. Based on what
Okay,
we...
but Glenn Powell could play the character. He just kind of wanders around and is like, "What the fuck is going on?" Like,
That's
that is,
true.
like, such
But
weird
we
shit.
have him currently as Lucian. We have Henry Cavill as Rhysand.
Yes,
We have Arpats as Tamlin.
because he can play a really manipulative asshole
We
and look
have
good doing it.
Anne Hathaway or Anya
I know
Taylor-Joy.
his Skarsgård is Tamlin.
Oh no, we did decide on Skarsgård
oh,
as Tamlin. Never
no,
mind,
one
we
of
take
the-
that back.
Take that back. One of the Skarsgård boys
Yes.
is Tamlin. We're thinking,
Eric.
Eric.
But you could really
Not
like,
Eric. What's his actual name?
Yes.
Alexander.
Alexander Skarsgård, who plays Eric
Yes.
as Tamlin, because he was Eric in True
Yes.
Blood.
Yes. True Blood.
Anne Hathaway.
Yeah, no, he's a better Tamlin.
Yes. Anne Hathaway or Anya Taylor-Joy as Farah. We haven't decided yet. Carice Van Houten as the High Queen, or
Basically Melisande from Game of Thrones as Amarantha.
As Amarantha. Emma Thompson as Alice. And right now we are still sitting at Sophie Turner or Sophie Sutton as Nesta. Skelton. Why do anyway. We don't have anyone as Elaine.
Damian Lewis.
Who the fuck is Damian Lewis?
Damian Lewis is the... Yeah.
No.
I like him.
He's not... What? No.
No.
For who?
For Lucian.
Maybe?
He's a redhead. I like him.
He is a redhead.
So, I mean, it's, again, this is tentative.
This is total fan casting.
Fan casting, totally tentative. As we get through the rest of the books, we'll probably change up
There was an
casting.
ACOTAR series that they were, like, kicking around, and now that I've read the books, I'm like,
I think they quit it.
Well, they can't, but I
they
understand
canceled
why,
it.
because there's like, how the fuck do you do that?
Yes.
Like,
Everybody has their own people. Everybody would be mad.
it's
like,
just, but it's also like unhinged enough that you wouldn't be able to do it justice, right?
No.
It would be the 7th season of Game of Thrones, like.
There, certain things, like certain books and certain series, either work better as a TV show. Like a great example is the Percy Jackson series. They tried to do it as film, and it didn't work. But the Disney Plus television series is doing a great job with it.
Oh.
They did a really good job with Discovery of Witches on Amazon, or not Amazon, AMC Plus. It's on Netflix now.
Well, nowadays, like, you can just take more time with the TV series than you can with, like, a single movie.
The problem with doing it on TV series now is that everything is on streaming, and streaming is just so hot or cold.
Yeah.
And it really depends on the network, the studio that does it.
Yeah,
will
it
make
does.
a difference on, like,
You know,
and
'cause,
how much
like,
they spend on it.
AMC was doing a fantastic job with The Watch, which is like it will come to me, Terry Pratchett. Yes, thank you. They did a great job with that TV series, and they canceled it after 1 season. I was like, what the fuck? Or like The Witcher, right?
Well,
Where they just kinda
AMC has Interview with a Vampire,
which is excellent, by the
Mayfair
way.
Witches.
But if you look at the thing
It's
about
a hit or miss depending on how they do it.
But the thing about Interview with a Vampire is that you can't really look at it as like a true adaptation of the books.
Right, it's
Because
a variation.
It's really not.
It's
It's
a variation.
very much a variation.
But it's still really good.
But it's excellent.
They did a Discovery of Witches justice. You've
I
heard me.
haven't read the book
Yes.
yet.
No.
I need to read
You've
it.
heard
The
me
Discovery
mention
Witches
this.
series is really good.
You know
You've
I
heard
bought
me
it. It's on
mention
my
this
TBR.
book series multiple times. It's a beloved favorite, but they are beloved for a reason. So, yeah, that is ACOTAR. We took us an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Well, that just doesn't surprise me.
It's just a good
we
conversation
did
about
this
this book.
cold. We did this cold. So like
We did no organization, so we are kind of apologize for the
Sorry,
jumping
it's
around.
all over the place, but
This is, I feel like, how book club actually goes.
But
yeah, it is.
Christina's read it most recently.
Yes.
I've read it in the last couple months, but I also read I've mainlined all 5 books, so like the plot's kind of running together for me.
I've been in a fanfic for the 911 First Responder series deep dive.
Reread the Empyrean series to get yourself out of it.
So it's all
No, she's
fixes.
reading ACOTAR.
I'll finish ACOTAR. I haven't done Onyx Storm.
Oh.
It's good. I'm about halfway through it. It's good.
I am going to get to it, but I'm not in as big of a rush because the next book that Rebecca Yarros is going to do for the Imperium is
Okay, but it's
come out
also
for
going to be a
bit.
while before we have the next Sarah J. Maas book.
And the thing, too, is, I know enough about Onyx Storm to know it's really convoluted and all over the place.
It's requiring more of my brain cells than the other two did to keep track of the plot, but it's good.
But I do like the TikTok, or it's TikTok on Instagram, because we still have no fucking clue how to use TikTok.
is.
We need a older Gen Alpha to help us.
I just watch on Reels on Facebook.
Yeah, but we should get on TikTok.
Those are
so we
TikToks.
can...
Look, so I watch Instagram stories of TikToks that were cool 6 months ago.
Right,
So-
exactly. So we need to figure that out. But I love it because they do Zayden. You choose Zayden or Rhysand. And it's like a bunch of girlfriends, and they have to pick one or the other.
Yeah.
And I'm just like...
Well, now I'm going to have to read the other series so I can choose which one I want.
So Zayden is very similar to Rhysand.
They're the same.
They're same, tall,
just
dark, and
different
handsome.
flavors
of
the same
like
character.
Yeah.
the morally gray, not quite good guy, not quite bad guy. You're kind of questioning. It's the whole bad boy thing for me.
Mm.
Zayden's a little more of a dick than Rhysand is, but
Yes, But it's the bad boy who love hard. Bad boys who love hard. I'm assuming for Rhysand.
I feel like Violet and Farah would draw in a fight.
But like it's the bad boys who love their women hard.
Yes.
Is very much the vibe for both of them, and I love it.
I would like to see Rhysand and Xaden fight though, because they both.
Their various magics and stuff. Yes.
Uh-huh.
But like I also know kind of how Onyx Storm is supposed to end. Who ends up where and how.
I mean, I know the broads. I know approximately, like just from reading the book too, kind of where it's going with it too.
At some point maybe we'll cover the Imperium series.
I think we will, because I sat next to you on the plane while you read Fourth Wing.
And was like, this is so
and then
predictable.
got home and my mom was like, my chiropractor told me you have to read this book. And I was like, okay. And I read it and had the exact same reaction that you did to it.
Yeah, Claire watched me read this on a flight to...
That was when we went to
the East Coast to go to a concert.
To see the concert, yeah.
And she's watching me read this, and
You just kept going like, what the fuck?
Like, this is gonna happen. Like, this is too predictable.
You're like, oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Like,
I was like, what?
I was right. And,
yes.
and Claire's just like,
what?
and
I'm not normally someone who like guesses where the plot is going to go, and it was like so obvious.
Are you kidding? When I read J.D. Robb, so Nora Roberts' other pseudonym, where she does it's a cop and a former criminal. They're a married couple and they solve crimes together.
Yeah.
It's a fun read. It's one of those ones I can go to anytime and read it and enjoy.
Yeah, pick it up anytime and you remember.
But I always like to try to figure out who the criminal is, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, I think we've gone long enough.
I think we're good.
Sorry.
Yeah, we got...
Alright, so because we have rebranded, just know we are on social media. We are on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We are Salacious Sips Book Club. On X or Twitter, as it used to, formerly known as Twitter, we are Salacious Sips. Our website is now Salacious Sips, a Drinky Book Club. That's where you can see our episodes. We'll link to the books where you can get them on Prime. You'll be able to see the various booze we drink. We have a Patreon, also Salacious Sips Book Club. What else?
Like, listen, and subscribe.
So, yeah. Like, listen, and subscribe. And tune in next time for... What's the next book?
More ACOTAR.
Thanks
for coming.
Thanks for listening.
Cheers, bitches.
Cheers.
Cheers.